backstage access at llmSummit. Everything that happens behind the scenes, inshallah. That's the program for today. Follow us.
Our scholars have said a little bit of knowledge is very dangerous. And that's something we're very conscious of. That at AlMaghrib, whatever we teach you, we try to teach you holistically. So if we're teaching you Iman, we're also going to make sure that you don't use this as a means of discord in the community. We'll also make sure that you understand there are conditions, there's a methodology and wisdom in how we teach and preach these issues. And inshallah, I believe that it is because of all of this, by the blessings of Allah Azza wa Jal, that our institute has become the largest and the premier, and I would really say the most academic of all institutions in North America. I teach theology, Aqidah. I have personally had so many students come up to me and said, Shaykh, my Iman was weak. I've even had a person who entered the class as a Muslim agnostic atheist. You know, his parents forced him to go. And he came crying to me. That was the story that really affects me the most. He came crying to me at the end. And he said, Shaykh, you made me a Muslim again by the blessings of Allah. You guided me back to Islam. You know, I was not a Muslim when I entered the class. I was an agnostic. And light of guidance, teaching them theology, Aqidah, you know, it brought him back to Islam. He was proud to be a Muslim. And that success story, alhamdulillah, we hear it so much, you know, in AlMaghrib.
So Shaykh Yasir Qadhi is officially finished?
Khalas, is over. Is Iman, what is the reality of Iman? We're going to be discussing the controversies that surrounded Iman. This was the first controversy that the Ummah underwent when the Khawarij broke away from Ali ibn Abi Talib. What is the status of sin? How does sin affect Iman? Can a sin take you out of Islam? So for example, worshipping and certain conditions are met. In any case, how do we become from a basic level of Muslim to a higher level of mu'min and a higher level of muhsin? These are all questions that we're asking from the hadith of Jibreel. When Jibreel alayhi salam came and asked the Prophet, what is Islam, what is Iman, what is Ihsan? So based upon this one hadith of Jibreel, we're going to elaborate about the realities of faith. And alhamdulillah, we've done like 4 or 5 lectures, and we have another 4 or 5 to go in the next 4 days of IlmSummit. And inshallah, this information will then also be taught. I mean, obviously we're going into a lot of detail now, but in the classes of AlMaghrib, the 4th class which you talked about, we're going to be summarizing this. A lot of this, in fact, I mean, this information is simply not available in the English language because the references that we use are the classical sources of our religion and also modern books out. So basically all my references are Arabic books here. This is not information that is available in English. And I think that's what really makes AlMaghrib stand apart from other organizations and other teaching institutions. Alhamdulillah, there's a lot of good institutions out there that are teaching good, authentic Islamic knowledge. But I really do feel that the quality of AlMaghrib, combining practical information with classical orthodox understandings of Islam, this is so that they understand their religion better. The same goes for Iman right now as well. We're going to be talking about issues of, you know, some people have misunderstandings about the reality of the religion. We're going to be correcting that. Extremists out there, they have really strange interpretations of what constitutes Iman. I mean, there are even some people who say, as a Muslim, you can't even be living in America. And we need to show them, no, that's not the case. You can be a very practicing, God-fearing, pious, righteous Muslim and live anywhere in the world. We have taught close to 30,000 unique students, at least 60, 70,000 repetitive students. And that's not just somebody attending a class. I mean, you need to understand, this isn't just an hour lecture. This is somebody who spent 20, 30 hours on a particular subject. That's saying a lot. You do the math. The average student spends 30 hours. If we've taught 70,000 students, you know, with repetitions, you do the math. We're talking about millions of hours of teaching time. And that's something I believe is a great blessing from Allah Azza wa Jal. And this is the primary motivation that we have, just to see the students come and see their level of Islam rise. Believe it or not, knowledge makes you a tolerant person. It's only ignorant people who are fanatics. Knowledge, especially when you understand why a person holds a position, why another madhab or another group says something. When you understand that, it changes the whole dynamics of relating to that person. When you understand, you know, this guy also interprets it slightly differently than he does. You actually begin to maybe even respect that difference. And I ask that Allah Azza wa Jal increases us in our barakah and our time and allows us to be instruments of good that spread knowledge and information and iman and taqwa in this religion, in this region, inshallah.